Oh, yes. How is everybody doing? Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. Let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin. Let's go, guys. Yes, 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 yes. All right, there we go. We are here on the screen. All right, legends, let's analyze the situation here for the price of Bitcoin because we got a little bit of a pump. Is this pump sustainable? Are we ready to get that rollover? Let me know right away, guys. What do you think in the comment section? I'm going to go and say hello to the beautiful community right away. Make sure to destroy that like button. I'm going to analyze Bitcoin. Some scenarios. Now, I did a video update yesterday that didn't get too much love. We talked about bearish case scenarios. People have been so bearish throughout the last few days. Even the last week, okay? All this conflict in the Middle East, right? Getting people fearful. Markets look bearish. We're going to be doing the technical analysis, guys, okay? Technical analysis throughout the price of Bitcoin. What is the highest probability scenarios that we can see in the next coming days? What are the levels that we need to take into consideration? And how could the price move, most importantly, right? How can the price move? We need to know different options. This is a video that I posted many days ago. This was last Tuesday. No, not even last Tuesday, last Monday, where we were analyzing the situation here for a triangle structure to be forming, right? This is one possibility of how the price could develop in the next coming days, getting a rejection from 108, 109K zone, getting a bounce from the 103, 104K zone, which literally is where we bounced right now in the last 24 hours, right? We are getting this bounce. So we can look at the different possibilities on how the price action can move and know specifically where the price could reject and also bounce, right? As you can see with this triangle. Now, I did a video yesterday talking about many different bearish case scenarios, because when we start talking about a possible pump, a lot of people, I got a lot of salty comments. Again, crash is coming, a crash is coming, my God. And people don't like, you know, this is internal movements, guys. We can actually look for the internal movements. That's what we do best. And just on the previous live stream, which was a couple of days ago, we were looking at the highest probability of this getting a pump to the upside to head to 106, potentially $107,000. This is currently where we are trading. We did manage to get slightly above $106,000, and we went in detail on the previous live stream so you can understand the probabilities here. Many people were talking about this being a bearish pennant, guys, a bearish pennant to the downside, right? Which was, hey, it was intimidating, right? This is actually an intimidating bearish pennant, if you wish, triangle structure. Nobody wants to get bullish. Nobody wants to get into a long position when the price is coming in a downtrend and it looks like it's going to roll over. We specifically said on a live stream why there was a higher probability from this boring range with the holidays yesterday. There was a higher probability in claiming the highs of the range than actually claiming the lows. I can explain that scenario. This was just an internal move. Ranges are the best scenarios to trade. When there's volatility, let the price stop. Now that the price has stopped, I've got a few scenarios ready here for you guys, so make sure to stay tuned. You might learn something, right? We talked about this, and there was a lot of people very bearish. Also with the FOMC, you know, the Fed press conference, it was a big fat nothing burger. I didn't go live. Who cares? The analysis on the chart says that we are likely going to claim the highs, then either claim the lows based on the previous stream. I am leaning more bullish on this local move than actually claiming the lows at 102.8K, right? Approximately. What is it? 102. No, sorry, 103.3. This is the other one. This is the other pivot. This one right over here. I can explain why. Okay, it's all about probabilities. I don't know at the end of the day what's going to happen. Okay, it might drop down. Of course it can. But the highest probability was getting the movement up. This is why I actually decided to get into a long position on this movement where profits eventually have been taken already on the movement to the upside. Looking for a long position on this dip that we had yesterday. Being confident enough that we are likely going to claim above 105.5K. Now, this was provided yesterday in the signals channel. I did say I was very vocal about it. Guys, I am entering this long position. I am targeting 105.5K as the first take profit. This is where I'm going to be posting my Bitcoin trades, either longs and shorts, in the signals channel on the Telegram. If you are interested in that, make sure to join right away because it's completely free, guys. It's the first link down below. If you want to know where I am getting into the trades, and this is the trade that I provided yesterday, I'm in a long, and I do see the potential of claiming 105.5K. That is my analysis that was kind of shared here on the previous video. I was very vocal about this. I was saying, guys, you know why there was a higher probability in moving to the upside here, guys? It all had to do with this wave right over here. It all has to do on how did we come down to this zone, because most of retail, most of the average trader, most of the basic traders will see this as a bear flag, a bearish pennant, right? It is a bearish pennant. You would arguably discuss. We're going to get that breakdown, right? And you might have seen this throughout all of your favorite social crypto channels. There might be some guys that were actually bullish, but overall, we were leaning on the highest probability scenario purely based on how we got the development here in this structure, and also this movement to the downside that looked better as a three-wave structure. It's extremely important to analyze where the market is coming from. How is the market moving, right? From the beginning, when you enter into a range, does it have higher probability moving down or actually moving up in a three-wave structure to the upside? Well, I was leaning on the higher probability of getting that push to the upside, guys. And this was a key wave to understand that probabilities from here is actually doing this, then actually doing this. It's a small movement. It's a day trade. Made a few grand, made a few $1,000. We're happy, right? It's not about being right, not about being bullish, all-time high, you know, in the next coming days, or breaking down. It's a day trade scenario, right? We look to enter, we pump a few $1,000, we are good, we protect, we take profit, we move to the next trade. I'm going to leave some open just in case it pumps a little bit more, okay? So we're going to give a few details on what I am looking next, because am I in a short position? Well, I'm in a short position from a few days ago, which is a head short. I was happy to say I'm likely going to get stopped out from this short position. You know, it's not none of my interest. It's just a head short just in case the market does drop. Well, then at least I am in a short position, right? But I've been more interested in longs in this zone eventually, right? So yeah, I'm going to go a little bit in detail, guys, here on what I am looking for to take the next trading setup. And of course, you know, this was also forwarded on yesterday's update analysis in the Legends trading community, okay? Looking for that bounce at the $104,000. This was yesterday. Looking for the valley area low, looking for a higher low, and then get the push to the upside, which we have been getting this morning. I was leaning more on the bullish side. This is why I entered a long position, and no shorts were taken in this zone. You could have shorted here. Of course, there was, you know, movements to the downside. But the people that are shorting to go to lower levels, well, eventually they're having a hard time right now. They might be adding to the position. You know, I don't know. What is their strategy? Okay, you have the Discord as well, guys, where you got the modules, you got daily updates from myself and 𝗬𝗍𝘆 that is very active on the Discord, giving the guidance and the possibility of different scenarios. Okay, that's the place where you want to be to take your trading to the next level and understand these predictions that we do talk about on YouTube, right? We build this up, right? You can't make this up. This is on video. We talk about several scenarios and different levels of resistance and support. When we get this triangle on the chart, okay? When we do get this triangle on the chart, right? Which was the main general idea that we've had for the last few days, right? Even almost a week right now. And of course, talking about the rejection from 108K zone and the bounce from 104K zone, right? This is when we were trading at this zone, looking for how the price could develop in the next coming days. Of course, giving you that option. Do you want a short here? Manage risk. Do you want a long here yesterday, right? At 104K. Well, getting this bounce at the moment. What comes next? Do we see the triangle still developing? And where do we get resistance? How do we know that we are going to reject? Because I know a lot of people are just going to say, we're going to reject from here. I'm entering a short position. I'm going to explain in detail how I am going to execute this short position successfully, right? Because I am interested in shorts right now. Longs have been taken. Longs have been taking profit. I'm interested in a short. Okay, I'm interested in shorts right now on the pump. How are we going to find that short successfully? That is the question for many traders. Well, Make sure to get your cup of coffee, your water, because that will be discussed in this live stream. Let's go right away through the comment section. Oh, it's a slow day, guys. People have had it with crypto and trading. Low views. Yesterday's video, man, that's, performed very, very bad. Anyway, let's go. It's over for the Bears, says Axel. Andy, LFG, Jerome, my man, make sure to destroy that like button, guys. Let's pump the algorithm here like crazy. Oh my goodness, people have given up. Man, this is actually bullish. When the views go down, guys, it is bullish for the market. Let's be honest. Of course, we're going to be talking about several scenarios. Is it time to short right now, right? We are getting the rejection. We're going to be talking about that right away, guys. Not to worry, okay? Not to worry, because yeah, we're probably hitting already the 1236. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, we're already hitting that zigzag target zone 12361382 here, which is where we are getting the rejection. That's very interesting. Would be nice to get a little bit of more pumpy action, but we're going to be analyzing this structure right over here and how we can really come to the conclusion of, is it bearish? Is it good to short? Or is this going to be a corrective structure and it will take the highs again? Or is this it, guys? Will this be the moment that we want to jump into a short now based on confirmation? No rush, guys. I'm in a short position from this area. Okay? But I'm in no short at the moment here. Will I miss the short? It's going to absolutely collapse. Maybe it's a possibility, but this is why on today's live stream, we are going to analyze in detail what is going on here and how did we get up there from the lows, okay? From this low right over here, how did we get up here? What kind of structure did we develop to understand, is it highly more likely that we consolidate and take out the highs? Or is this the high and we are ready to drop down to lower levels? There's specific movements that if the price does, will give you that confirmation, that edge to take the trading decision, okay? So let's go through the comment section first of all, guys. No rush. There's trading opportunities every single day. I know there's a lot of people that want to scalp long, scalp short, where you have your VWAP. If you want to play with your VWAP, then you can do so here, right? Where's my VWAP? On the lower time frame. Why was this deleted? What's going on here? Why was my VWAP deleted from the chart? There we go. We're just getting a little reaction at the VWAP. Sweep the lows. Yeah, you got a quick long scalp position here. A little bit SFP from the lows. I mean, it all depends on your trading style, right? There we go. VWAP getting a beautiful reaction here, sweeping up the lows. There's your long scalp, right? But we are more interested in a little bit more of swing trades, okay? It was a beautiful, actually, quick long position, guys. My bad. But we're not here to focus on the lower time frame. We're trying to understand what is the, the different projections that we're looking at. But if you wanted a long position, you had it right over here at the VWAP sweeping up the lows, right? It's a very, very basic, easy, scalping level. Getting a quick little reaction of $100 to $200, nothing too crazy. You can easily protect position if you did manage to sweep up, okay, the low, get into that long trade. Let's go right away through the higher time frame, most importantly, right? I'm not really that interested in scalping. I'm getting old. I've made the gains. I'm getting into more chilled, swing trade positions. Day trades might last a few days. I'm not too fussy right now with scalps and day trades, guys. I'm happy to get bigger positions in and just chill, right, on these different positions that are open, and hedging, of course, which is very, very good. So we'll be going in detail on what I'm looking next here, okay? What I'm looking next here for my next short position. But I need that like button getting destroyed, guys, because if not, I'm gonna fuck off, guys. Let's keep it clear. I've had it. I've had it with the education. I've had it with the nonsense. I'm getting so many bad comments. It's like, screw you guys, right? I know a lot of you are good, but yeah, seriously, I've been actually getting some pretty bad comments, and we just look at the levels and the different scenarios. And, you know, I was very much vocal on the previous live stream, regardless if we were choppy yesterday, right, and formed a triangle. You take that decision. I'm going to share in the Telegram if I get into the trade. Guys, I'm long. You know, I'm looking for the highs to be taken. If you're happy to join that, then you'll know exactly where I'm entering my Bitcoin trades. I'm happy to share them. Okay. But yeah, I'm not too happy with YouTube, guys, to be honest. Not too happy with the kind of viewers that I'm getting lately. I got a lot of salty comments for no reason. So I'm just giving my opinion here. And anyway, let's go right away. Let's go right away through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community, of course. Like this video. Go like the video, says World War 208. Hi, Andy. Ignore the haters. I know, my man. I know. Now I can. Eric, how are you doing, my brother? 𝗬𝗍𝘆𝗽𝗍 here. Much love, legends. And Andy. 𝗬𝗍𝘆𝗽𝗍, much love to you, brother. Okay? Much love to you. Should we long now, Andy? Well, there was a quick long scalp entry, okay, at the VWAP, okay? Remember that VWAP, yes, these are very, very, you know, I prefer getting into some good local structure. And for me yesterday, even though I even got a crying emoji on my long position. People were like, why are you longing this bearish pennant? Well, today you have the answer. Today you have the answer. That's why I was longing here, because this looks very bearish, right? It just looks like it's going to roll down. Sometimes the worst looking charts, when you go against them, it's the best trade, right? Now you think, should I long here? Well, there's only some scalps. You need to be very defensive. It's dangerous environment. It's dangerous environment. Okay, you need to be defensive with your capital. We just bounced from the VWAP. VWAP might be lost. You know, this is a small correction. I prefer ranges and understanding the structure. And when we got this movement to the downside right over here, and we got this bounce, and even this bounce right over here, this was when we had the funk. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Based on the charts, the probabilities still were looking for this, guys. Regardless, yesterday the markets were closed. Well, we just extended this scenario, and then we got the push up today, which is fine. That's, you know, the target is taking out the highs. We get an extra pump. I'm scratching more profits. That's it. There was a very good long setup yesterday. For me anyway, if you wanted to get into the best position possible, was as soon as we got this drop beneath the lows, starting to hit the 50% Fibonacci from this low to the high. 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci. We talk about this many, many times. That is your zone. And if I am a believer that we are going to be getting a three-wave structure to the upside, well, I am going to label this second wave to the upside as your possible second 1-2. Maybe this right over here is developing the C wave. So all of this right over here is part of your C wave, right? Your three-wave structure at the end of the day. So if I am leaning that we do get a higher low in this zone, as mentioned in the last couple of the last live stream, let's keep it honest here. It was the last live stream. I mean, this didn't straight pump. We actually came down. But the aim idea here was a higher low from this pivot. It doesn't matter if we claim the low again or not. So eventually you want to get into the trade at the, 618, the 7/8 from the low of the high. That is your zone of interest. So if I am leaning that the highest probability, which also increased, the probabilities increased here, legends, when we got this movement to the upside. And you may ask why. Guys, I know it's boring. It is boring, guys, but it gives you that edge in trading. This will give you the edge in trading to understand the highest probability movement. It's no BS. You can check the video live stream. I was so vocal about this. I don't like this 5-wave structure to the downside. I was like, yeah, this right over here, yeah, this does not look good. You know, it's very much vocal of, I'm not leaning on this being a 5-wave structure to the downside. You can watch the stream. Okay, I don't need to convince you guys. If whoever was on the live stream knew that I was leaning more on the probabilities of this being a 3-wave structure. So the probabilities increased. This is why for me, getting into a long position here at the value area low of this zone to get into a long position was the best option, not only because I was already, you know, looking at the highest probability movement to the upside here. Because of this movement down, I was already confident, you know, the way that we got down here is I don't like it as an impulse. This for me is a 3-wave structure, which automatically turns this into a WXY double zigzag, a very aggressive one, but I'm not labeling this as a 3rd wave. I'm labeling this as the end of an impulse, the end of a corrective structure, sorry. A 3-wave move down. In a 3-wave move down, right, there's either this or there's either this. After that movement down here, either in the 3rd wave or the 5th wave, you are looking for a reversal. You are looking for a bounce, which was literally this. So this was very much explained on the previous stream, right? Where we talked about this scenario right over here. And the probabilities increased. This is education purposes, guys, just explaining the long position. It needs to be explained, right? I don't just randomly long because I'm bullish or because I'm bearish. There's a technical reason. There's never, you know, a random reason. There's always a technical reason, and there's always information that you get on the chart to increase your probabilities, right? Now the price action could absolutely nuke, or it could pump again, it could go in circles. I don't care. The trade that I was looking for was in this zone to get the rally above 105.5 and taken, you know, most of the profits, right? You leave always a little bit open. I've still got some open of this position. Price is getting a nice leg down. We'll go in detail later on, guys, to see what is going on here, but we keep this educational, guys. I want you to learn so you can fish and see the highest probability movements, if it's going to be bullish, bearish. You know, I think maybe the people are not interested in following me more because they've learned already. If that is the case, I'm happy. If that is the case, I'm happy. Like, I know all of this right now, so I don't need to watch you anymore. that would actually make me quite happy, guys. But I also have that feeling that people just can't take it and can't understand it, which would be very, very common, right? I don't expect that, you know, there's too many smart people in this world. So I've come across many interesting characters in this world. So let's just go through why the probabilities increased, guys, that we were going to form a higher low here in this zone based on this movement. Well, it's all analyzing the movement down that happened from here to here. And this bounce right over here, where it did retrace to. If we are looking for a bearish move to happen, to continue the impulsive move to the downside, potentially to finish that 5-wave structure, I do not want to see the price retracing to the 0.88 Fibonacci, right? This one from the high to the low, this was still good. It was just about scratching the 0.88. That's too much. We did talk about that possibility here, but yeah, I was not leaning on this being bearish. Regardless if we claim the low or not, it doesn't matter. Then from this pivot high to the pivot low, Same scenario. Pivot high to the pivot low. We come and hit the 0.88 Fibonacci, meaning that this has low probability in breaking down the lows. So I'm interested in a higher low here. Okay. We're getting a pretty nice drop now. We're getting a pretty nice drop. This is going to be very, very interesting to analyze, legends. Okay. So we're going to be looking at this right now. If this continues to be quite aggressive, then we could be developing a wave 3. Okay, we're going to be analyzing this structure now. Bear with me. Okay, not to worry. There's no rush here, guys. This has been relatively volatile. It's been quite volatile. We're going to create a few plans on the live stream. Okay, so bear with me here. All right. But first, let's go through the comment section. Getting an interesting pullback here. Interesting movement to the downside. Yeah, 50% has been hit here. You really want the price to find support in this zone. You really want the price to find support. We're going to talk about a possible long position, guys, okay? But we need some information. I'm going to explain what information we need to be confident in taking the long. I'm going to explain the information here that we need to be confident in the long position so we can label this movement to the upside as a possible impulsive move, right? Because at the end of the day, what we would be labeling this as is a 5-wave structure in an ABC. This is the general idea that I have right now. Okay, a C wave is getting a little bit extensive in price action, but this is a possibility. Okay, I'm going to explain the safest way to get into a long. Of course, if the price, you know, if this were to be a 4th wave inside of the 3rd wave, because we're still maybe developing the 3rd wave to the upside, okay, of your ABC, I'm going to explain what we need to see. Regardless, if it is going to be like this, we should not be crossing, okay, the 50% successfully, not hitting the golden pocket from this pivot low to this pivot high. If we want to label this as a wave 3 zigzag down, we should be getting support here if we are going to get bullish continuation to the upside. This is the last level of support for the bulls, 105.3k, which we just currently hit to the dollar. And this is the level that needs to bounce to claim today's highs if we want to continue with this bullish structure. The moment we start hitting the golden pocket, it's where it decreases probability for the structure to continue to the upside. Regardless, it can get a bounce, but it's not looking impulsive anymore. So 50% has just been touched. This bounce is going to tell us everything. Okay, so we're going to go in detail right now on the lower time frame just for a potential high probability scalp position. If not, we're going to have to leave the price action, roll down, and then look for possible short positions, right? Not the easiest short position here to the upside, I gotta say. Not the easiest short position unless you are shorting the extension 12361382 of this move. This is a common C wave target, okay? The 1236 to the 1382 is a common target for your C wave. If this is going to be your C wave already. However, I do see the chance still here to go higher. I do see the chance. I mean, that doesn't mean we can, need to jump into a long. I mean, the support level has been touched, which is the 50% Fibonacci. This has been your most explosive move. We've got lots of red volume here, at least on Bybit. Let's check some other exchanges. It is true that open interest is low. Volume is not too high on the pump. So I I would, you know, I do get that this pump has very low volume and very low open interest. Okay, that is something that you want to take into consideration. Open interest is going down on the pump, not too much volume, just something that you consider. But market structure leads the way, and if the market is pumping today, well, we're going to have to go with the pumpy momentum and the levels of support, right? It is crucial that the 50% does hold from this latest move to the upside. The moment you start getting down to the golden pocket, which is sitting at 105.1k, that is the moment we get in doubt that we could go to lower levels. Okay, we could literally come down back to the lows. Very much a possibility. For the moment, the structure is still bullish locally. So we're going to talk about support and resistance levels. It's much better for me to get into a range, into a trade. Chilled along position, guys. Very nice. I'm still in no new short positions here. So if the price moves down, I have to miss this short position, being relatively quick. But I'm going to explain a little bit here. When do we increase in probabilities for the price to either move up or move to lower prices, okay? The moment the price claims these lower highs, there is extreme high probability that we're going to take out today's highs. The moment the price action from this drop claims these lower highs right over here, there is very high probability in claiming these highs. Why, you may ask? Because if you are developing a leading move to the downside, we should be continuing down. We should be pushing down. Push down, continue. Little bounces is fine. Continue to the downside without claiming the lower highs of this range. Now, if we do claim them, when you form a three-wave structure and you claim the last lower high after forming a three-wave structure, the only bearish scenario that you have left is forming an ABC flat, which is definitely possible, okay? Without a doubt, it's possible to form a flat and then you get continuation to the downside. However, it also increases the probability after coming from an impulsive move that you are likely looking at this as a corrective structure and you're likely going to take out these highs at some point. So if the local trend is to the upside, the only bearish case scenario is this one, but the structure is bullish, you would want to bet with the market, not against the market. So that would be a crucial pivot. That would invalidate the possibility of the price moving down in an impulse to the downside. Your only bearish option is moving down here in an impulse and having an ABC flat. Okay, that would be your only option for this to be a developing 5-wave structure to the downside if you claim those lower highs. So if we do claim the lower highs and we retrace down, I'm interested in a long position to continue the structure of today. And I realize that if we do claim these lower highs, there will be higher probability for that movement. We're going to talk about the bearish case scenario right now, okay? So make sure to stay tuned, okay? There's bullish and bearish case, of course. We're not only bullish or only bearish. We don't only look for longs or only shorts. We're understanding where the bulls are gaining in probabilities and when the bears are gaining in probabilities also. Now, this is one scenario, right? I would rather bet that the market structure would continue to the upside if we claim these lower highs, meaning that I would be interested in the correction if we claim these highs to get into a long position. Only because this could be a confirmed 3-wave structure We are in an uptrend. The only bearish case would be an ABC flat. However, if this were to be an ABC flat on the formation where we have a three-wave structure, we have a three-wave structure potentially here to the downside on the lower time frame. And now you get that push up to claim the lower highs. Where did this B wave target hit if this is going to be an ABC flat? We know that certain Fibonacci levels, if hit, the probabilities decrease. And if we do take a look at the B wave target on the Fibonacci, okay? Hold on a second. If we do take a look at the B wave target on the Fibonacci extension, to take a look at the fib levels, we have already crossed the 1.618. And for a B wave target of an expanding flat, most commonly is the 1236 to the 1382. So your B wave is overshooting here. Now, that increases the probability that if we do claim the lower highs, there is extreme high probability that we are going to claim the local highs of today. And this will almost very likely confirm a three-wave structure. So claiming this high, yeah, absolutely brilliant. That means that, yeah, we're probably going to hit those highs of today. Okay? We are invalidating the different bearish case scenarios. Okay? And the only one that you do have, if you claim these lower highs, is an ABC flat. However, the B wave has gone below the 1.618 extension, making it extremely rare for a B wave flat. So if the bulls do manage to push up here, it is game on. It's a matter of time that we do claim those highs with high probability. Okay, so we need to claim those highs. Or for those aggressive traders, if this your longest wave from the start of this wave up with the most amount of volume, the most aggressive wave to the upside that we've had in the last few days, we want to try and label it as a wave 3. If this is the case, we should not cross and hit the golden pocket. This is your invalidation for this scenario, meaning that the 50% eventually, as you come down there, is your chance for the long position. Stop loss at golden pocket. 50% in between 382 and 50% is your interest zone to get that push up to claim the highs. Invalidation, interest zone. We hit the lower highs, increases probabilities in taking out these highs. If the price were to move down, right? If the price were to move down, you know, what is the bearish case scenario? I mean, this is an aggressive short position, guys. You know, not everybody likes to get into a short position on the pump. They don't know exactly. Of course, if you have a few fib levels ready, it does make sense. I mean, we did have a daily level. There's a naked point of control somewhere here also to the upside. 106.8K. Fibonacci from the highs of last Tuesday to the lows. You know, it's not an easy short here to catch the highs. You know, unless you're using this model that I am using right now as a three-wave structure in a ABC structure, your most common level to hit in a three-wave ABC zigzag is the 1236 1382 Fibonacci extension. So if you're looking at this as a ABC, such as myself, I am looking at this to be a three-wave structure. We are in a massive triangle, still, which is developed by three-wave structures. We've been talking about the three-wave structures for the last week, right? This entire range is developed by three-wave structures. And this is why I was confident on the long position yesterday, because I see this movement down as a three-wave structure. And what I want to see is a three-wave structure back up, then maybe back down, of course, yeah. But the overall idea here was to get that leg to the upside, because understanding that the structure and the range that we've formed through the last few days is purely developed by three-wave moves. And that means only one thing. We will continue to create three-wave structures till we actually get squeezed in a pennant, or we finish a pattern to get the breakout. So the general idea here is we still continue three-wave up, three-wave down. I'm looking for a three-wave up, and maybe the three-wave down now. Maybe this has been the end and we start coming down. But I'm also going to explain in detail, what if the price claims the highs? I am looking for this three-wave structure to possibly finish at some point if it is not finished. How are we going to find out? And how are we going to get into the highest probability trading setup? This is why you're here, guys. Understanding where is the highest probability scenarios and why, why are we looking for this, right? I am in many channels, guys. I do take a look at different channels, and it was pretty interesting to see how a lot were leaning on this scenario here. Many were leaning on this. Many. Okay. We already talked about this on the previous stream. We've developed this entire structure in three waves. Okay. Three waves. This is maybe it, guys. Maybe we did finish this three-wave move up here. We've hit the common target zone. It would be nice to get a few more waves up. I have to be honest. Would be nice. Then short would be more interesting at the levels of resistance. But three-wave move up. This counted better as a three-wave move down. I explained this also on the stream. This is no impulse. No fourth wave here has high probability. This is low probability movement. Low probability movement here. Low probability. Same as this, low probability down. It was explained on the previous stream. I'm looking for a leg up here. So I'm just I'm remembering some of the comments, because he actually got people laughing at me. Seriously, guys. I can find the comment section on one of the videos. It was this zone over here. Somebody was saying, so you're basically longing a bear flag. You're basically longing a bear flag. You're basically longing a bear pennant, right? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, well, if you want to see it like that, yeah, I'm longing a pennant here, yeah, a bearish pennant. This is when the power of knowledge comes into place, guys. Understanding where are you coming from? Where are you coming from? We forget about the basic TA guys for retail, guys. You are here to get the power of understanding the charts and getting the highest probability scenarios. Forget about bullish pennants and bearish pennants or head and shoulders, guys. Three-wave move up, three-wave move down, three-wave move up, three-wave move down. Low is potentially in. We have had the three-wave move up. The highs may be in here, guys. The highs may be in. I cannot deny that. We've had the three-wave move up. I was looking for this. Now I got it. Not an easy short, okay? But the short will be easy once I get the next information that I will get, okay? Which is breaking down here and crossing the golden pocket from the last pivot higher low to this pivot high, the moment that we cross, okay, which I think, you know, there is a possibility that this doesn't happen, guys. I don't care. This is where I'm looking for my next trading setup. I think that we could hold the 50% zone and actually get a bounce to claim the highs. Just because the local structure is bullish, we've finished here this wave right over here, which is, you know, it has the highest amount of volume, and that is also common to finish a wave, maybe a corrective wave. I'm just really not interested right now in a trade in this zone. I'm aware of the breakdown. I'm aware of this being a finished three-wave structure. We've hit the target zones. 1236, 1382 extension. You know, not interested in a trade at the moment, but I will be interested in a trade. I mean, you could take the shot here for the bullish case. I mean, I would not want to short here. I would rather attempt the long position, guys. I would rather attempt the long position at the 50%, if I'm honest with you here. Stop loss at the golden pocket, and you're targeting the highs. I would rather attempt this. You know, golden pocket is where the value area high is of this range. It's only an invalidation for the bullish case for an impulse. They could still get a bounce, but it's your hard invalidation. If you want to see this as an impulse. So 50% is the local sexiest movement, sexiest level at the moment, with your stop loss literally at the golden pocket and value area high. Of course, you could get stopped out and then bounce, but you would want to be aware of the bounce. You know, it could get continuation to the downside. But this is your best shot at the moment to really get into the bet here that this is a three-wave structure. Okay, and this is still impulsive. 105k being your invalidation at the golden pocket. So, you know, if the price does continue rolling down, I missed this local short, guys. I didn't short the top. I didn't short this bounce, but I will get into another short. I'm in a hedge short position from my longs. You know, it's just important to get into a short as well here. I mean, I was looking for another wave down on this movement. I got in a little late, but it made sense to come down here based on this analysis, guys. Based on this, you know, it did make sense to short the 107k zone. Based on the triangle. So you know, I'm very much interested in longs and shorts here. I just didn't short the this recent move. You know, I'm in no shorts at the moment locally. So where would I be interested in the short? We need a proper breakdown. We need the price to actually move down, hit the golden pocket from this low to the high, form a little bearish pennant, form a 5-wave structure. I need a clear impulsive move down for me to get into a short position on the bounce. Then I would attempt to get into this leg down. Till I do not get this structure developed, I don't care where. It can be here, it can be here, it can be anywhere. I will be interested in shorting the bounce at the 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci to get into the next wave down. You know, it is simple when you explain it like this, guys. You know, you want to get into the highest probability trading setups. You want to get in only in the highest probability trading setups, regardless if it's only going to be 2 trades a week. Only 2 trades a week. At the end of the month, you want to make profits, right? Regardless, 10%, 20%, 30% would be rare. Not many times I make 30% of them in a month, guys, out of my trading account. Very, very rare. It usually ranges in between 10 and 20. So you don't want to get in on every single trade, guys. You want to get into the highest probability trading setups, okay? I mean, this would be a nice attempt. You could probably risk 0.5%. It does make sense that 50% Fibonacci could hold. And there's been your invalidation, 105k. You're targeting the highs of today. It is possible. So I'm no longer in a short position locally. If we roll down, would I miss the short, guys? No. I will get in later on. It's just like these different ranges, right? I did not short this high over here. I did wait for this movement down, and on the three-wave structure, as soon as we were coming down, I really was, saying we're probably going to form a double zigzag down. I wasn't expecting this to be so aggressive and so fast. I was aware of the movement happening. I was not aware that it was going to be so fast and aggressive. But preferably you get into the third wave, and I have many different examples here. I shorted this pivot, guys. I didn't short this one, and that's after seeing this sign of weakness in this zone. This would have been an epic short. I think I did miss this short, even though it was pointed out in the Discord. This one right over here, actually. This one. Did I enter this short? I'm not sure if I did, but this is literally where you want to get into the short. On the sign of weakness, breaking the bullish structure and getting into the bounce, right? That's where I would want to short here. When you've broken here this uptrend momentum, where you invalidate the possibility of moving to higher levels, right? And you're breaking down in a five-wave structure, realizing that there is a high chance in getting that next leg down, regardless if it's going to be explosive or not. You need that first leading move to the downside, right? Sometimes, and especially if you front run major levels, right? Because you could hit the golden pocket here with the daily level, and that's great, guys. Sometimes there's two ways of trading. You short or long the levels of confluence, or you wait for the sign of strength or sign of weakness. Those are the two only ways where I have, figured out that you can trade successfully. Wait for the price to come to your highest confluence levels and take a decision based on the reaction, or wait using Elliott wave theory, the probabilities of the momentum to get that next move, right? In this case, it would be this high. And all of this is explained in detail. I know a lot of people just fuck off because they can't take the explanations. It's too much for their brain. I get it, but it's the overall way to do it, right? It's the overall way. We realize on the different projections that could happen. They always give you a short or a long, short long option, short long. We explained on the previous stream how it was a higher chance that we form a higher low here without claiming this low, based on this movement down and based on the next information that we got also throughout yesterday. Yesterday, the price gave me more information. And if you're looking at this to be a bearish pennant in a wave 4, your wave 4 is 10 times longer than your wave 2. This is not a symmetrical impulsive move to the downside. It's not symmetrical. Your wave 4 is, I don't know how many times longer, but yeah, we just out of speculation, we say it's 10 times longer. It's probably about that. I don't know. I haven't measured it. But your wave 2, when you have your wave 2 and then you're looking at a wave 4, yeah, I mean, it was, yeah, this is 5 waves. This is 5 times longer. So here, yeah, it's plus 10 times. If you are looking at this to be a symmetrical pennant, okay, to break down, it is possible, okay? The structure is bearish, but the probabilities decrease drastically once you are crossing 4 or 5 times longer. And especially if it's 10 times longer, it's like, yeah, this is, you know, you come to the conclusion, this is a 3-wave structure. I'm looking for a 3-wave move up. You know, that, and you gained in probabilities with this price action. And most will see this as a bearish pennant. That's the good, that's the magic, guys. I'm here to take your money. Did you know that? My knowledge, and you, well, your knowledge as well, guys. I want to believe that you're actually, you know, paying attention and you're understanding how to read the markets. We are here to take money from people that do not know how to trade. It's a sum zero game. I need people, irresponsible traders, to get into short positions on a bearish pennant so I can take their money. Because I understand the highest probability scenario. I can be wrong, but this is why we have risk management. I don't care losing a couple of $1,000, guys, if I get stopped out. I stopped out, I was wrong. The probabilities, the reading of the market was not in my side. So it doesn't matter. Tomorrow's another day. We'll analyze another situation. We do not revenge trade, and we do not add to position, and we do not do any of that silly nonsense, okay? At very far levels where we do not know how the price action is going to react. We need to go level to level and understand the local structures. So, guys, I mean, I don't want to be a dick, you know, speaking like this, but I care about you. I care about the people that are watching me, because I know the huge amount of crap that there is out there, guys. There is a lot of BS. We live in the 21st century, which is, you know, it's the century where we're going to see many revolutions in the world, because everything's, you know, a very big mess, guys. Okay, we're going to see many problems in the future, near future. And you're going to see a lot of BS out there. And I'm just trying to make the clearest educational content, okay? And you know, so you can actually defend yourself in these markets, regardless if we're wrong or right. I'm not here to be wrong or right. You know, we have our risk management for that. Okay, so anyway, let's go right away through the comp section. Bitcoin getting an interesting dip here. Interesting dip right now. We have formed a 3-wave structure. Losing this high is interesting. It is interesting, but I'm still... That would be the official sign of weakness. If we hit this level and we do create a 5-wave move, we could still bounce here, even though we formed a 3-wave structure. We could still bounce up. I need the 3rd wave, the corrective wave, and then the 5th wave. Once we got a completion of a leading move to the downside, that is the moment that I realized that the weakness is very real. That's very real weakness. So we need to talk about a bit of higher time frame scenarios as well, okay? Because right now a lot of people are going to be you know, really focused on the triangle structure, but there is a local bearish case that I want to cover. Well, there's many bearish case scenarios that I talked about yesterday. This one is interesting. Something that needs to be pointed out, that your E wave does not need to get to the resistance, okay? does not need to get to the resistance. This is one bearish case scenario that's actually breaking down to 102, 100K zone, low 100K levels. I want to cover this on this live stream because yesterday's video, I don't think many people did watch, but it's a few bearish local case scenarios. They all eventually get to all-time high in the future, despite losing $100,000, okay? They all look to get to all-time highs at some point. And it's just I think it's just good information, realizing where we came from, okay? It's just understanding whatever happens in this zone is still highly likely going to be corrective and will end up hitting all-time highs. We can lose $100,000, but the loss of $100,000 will not be a successful breakdown in a wave 3, and we're heading down to 80K, right? Give or take. So we need to go through those scenarios if possible. Okay, so yeah, maybe this 3-wave structure has finished. However, golden pocket hit with the value area high. So we only got a few options here right now, which is either a double zigzag to the upside. Yeah, we're hitting that value area high and golden pocket, which could get a bounce. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. We need a little bit of more information. We need more information. We only just broke out from this range, and there's still scenarios of going higher. I would, if we do break down, we do continue to the downside and we get a small consolidation and we get another leg down, guys. This for me would be the golden, the golden ticket to realize that the bounce has high probability and rolling back down. Okay, but I need a consolidation first of all, and I need another leg down to complete a 5-wave structure. Then I'll realize that the bearish case has very high probability. So it's a matter of remaining a little bit patient here. For me anyway. I missed the short. I didn't get into the short. I realized that there is a chance. If this is a 3-wave structure, this is no longer a 4th wave. We overlap the wave 1. It's a 3-wave move down, which is good. So what we are analyzing here with this structure is that you have this movement, then you have this movement, right? And now you have, this movement here to the upside. So we need to figure out what is happening in this zone. And I have to say that a double zigzag is definitely a possibility. It is definitely a possibility, double zigzag to the upside. Yeah, it's not worth speculating at the moment, as we hit the golden pocket for any long positions. For me anyway. Not in this structure. I'm very, very careful, guys, with the longs and shorts. Very, very careful. Yeah, I mean, a bearish confirmation would be consolidating and getting another leg down. This price action would be pretty bearish. So we need a grind and we need another low, And the bounce could be very interesting to actually find that weakness and then get the breakdown. Maybe some of you guys got into a aggressive short position. Maybe some of you guys did actually short aggressively here. For me, I mean, maybe on the lower time frames, maybe an aggressive short. On the bounce, I mean, you probably had a 5-wave structure here to the downside. ABC movement, more of a flat, more of an ABC flat here. Yeah, you had an ABC flat. So yeah, as you claim the 0.9 Fibonacci and then you claim the highs. Well, you didn't claim the highs here. Not an easy short, guys, I have to say. If we would have done this and we kind of formed an SFP, then I would have possibly attempted a short here to get the 3-wave move down. But as the zigzag to the upside did not claim the highs, well, it wasn't a zigzag, it was a flat, a running flat, 3-wave structure, which your C wave does not claim the highs, but your B wave hits the 0.9 Fibonacci, which is your minimum target for the flat. Running flats, you're not going to see me short at a running flat. Very unlikely, unless we have, I don't know, massive confluence or big bearish CVD divergence. That might have been the case. No, it wasn't. So yeah, not a short that I would have entered here, legends. I'm in no local shorts here. So yeah, not an easy one. Not an easy one here for me anyway. You probably have been aggressive and said, I just shorted the market aggressively on the pump. There's no, we have hit the target already of that 3-wave structure of an ABC, right? Which is the 1, 2, 3, 6, 1, 3, 8, 2. This is the most common area to reject, guys. Anybody that wants to put that in their 3-wave corrective structure notebook, the 1, 2, 3, 6 to the 1, 3, 8, 2 is the most common level to reject in a C wave. When you have a low, a high, a higher low, and a high, this is the most common zone of rejection. Just if you wanted to know that. So maybe if, you know, I very likely, you know, I didn't short it, so, and I've been looking at the chart, so it's a difficult short to just aggressively enter into the pump. You know, I'm here to manage risk and I'm here to get into solid trades and know where to put my stop loss. It's just a difficult short, right? This is for the aggressive traders. Maybe you did see something else that I haven't seen, but this is a short that I wouldn't have taken. So is the high in here? Well, like I said, we need that extra push down. We need a consolidation. We need a stop. We need a stop at some point. Find a base, find a range, find another 3-wave move. The moment that we do get an extra leg to the downside, which we would be labeling as your wave 5, then I realize that this 3-wave structure probably finished. This was probably the end, just getting above 106k, which was the main general idea. If we get to 107, that would be an extra bonus. But if we do get this movement here now, then I will realize that, you know, what we are looking for is very likely another 3-wave move down. And it possibly could be a wave 3. It could be a wave C. It doesn't matter. We need to see how aggressive, you know, I'm interested in being in the wave. The moment we get beneath this low, I'm going to be collecting profits. Okay, so we need a 4-wave now locally, and we need another push down. Let's come to the conclusion that if we do not get that movement to the downside and the price gets an epic bounce, right, and just goes to higher levels, then we need to come to the conclusion that, you know, we are possibly forming something else. We're possibly forming something else, which, you know, I'm going to have to be, you know, structuring all of this to see if we are forming some kind of a double zigzag, which it doesn't look like it, because if this is a zigzag up and this is a correction in a, you know, a complex correction, we did hit the 0.78 Fibonacci, which already decreases the probability of forming a larger double zigzag to the upside. But yeah, I'm gonna have to restructure this scenario, you know, just in case if we do pump. What if we do pump? Yeah, this is something I will do in my spare time, guys. Not here on the stream, because, you know, we just have to I would have to figure out if we do get a bounce and we move to the upside, it is possible that this has been an ABC, and then you form some kind of a correction here, and then you form another ABC, and that is your double zigzag. I think we need a little bit of more information here. But yeah, I would see all of this as a corrective structure, guys, to the upside. I wouldn't lean on this being a 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, right? I wouldn't be leaning on that scenario. I would really be seeing this as all corrective. Too much overlap. Retracements are too big. This did retrace, almost hitting the 0.88. Yeah, no, it did hit the 0.88. So, yeah, for this to be a wave 2, very low probabilities. I'm not looking at this to be an impulse. I mean, the general idea was looking at a corrective structure, 3-wave corrective structure, right? And then coming down. You know, the question is here in my mind was this it? Was this it already? That is my question. Well, for confirmation, guys, just to keep it simple, right? Instead of going too crazy and counting here the micro counts, you would have to do this, right? The moment we do get a bounce and we do push down, then I realize that you got a 5-wave structure. If we were to bounce from here and claim these highs, yeah, I would have to really, we got a bit choppy, but I would have to come to the conclusion that we could be developing a double zigzag, where you get a zigzag and another zigzag up at some point after this corrective structure. And I mean, that would point out that we could be getting above 107k and we could be completing the triangle, right? And we got the daily, we got the golden pocket, the 7/8 Fibonacci. This becomes a very interesting zone to look for shorts. This triangle doesn't matter. The moment we get above 107k, which is golden pocket to the 7/8, it becomes a very interesting area if we were to manage to get up there to look for short positions, because this structure that we're moving up, I am currently not seeing it as an impulse. So, you know, that retracement down is kind of very much expected, right? I wasn't leaning on the price to absolutely moon to all-time high from these current this current consolidation. The general idea was getting the movement down after forming another 3-wave structure. But yeah, it did get a pretty sharp rejection right now without getting an extra squeeze up. So my general question right now is, you know, have we finished this movement to the upside, or potentially not, right? Maybe we have still that zigzag, kind of a sideways correction, and another zigzag up, where you do form a double zigzag, right? You form a larger three-wave structure. I mean, that's if we were to get the leg up as we consolidate here in the next coming hours. Just to understand that if we do not develop that five-wave move, here, legends, then I would say that, you know, this is what I want to see to become locally bearish. And then the bounce is what I would be analyzing very carefully. But if we do not get that 4-5 in the next coming hours, you know, we start going ranging, right? The moment this would still gain in probability if we claim the lower highs, that you're going to end up taking out this high at some point. I mean, so this is why where it comes even more complex. You know, you got a three-wave move up, you got a zigzag move down, and then you're probably looking at another zigzag up. I mean, it might be more rangy, but yeah, I need a lot of more information here. The only information to confirm the bearishness is consolidation, leg down, boom, five-wave structure, and then I'll, you know, realize that this is looking impulsive. And this could be the end, and we are going to break down, which has been, you know, pretty aggressive drop. There are a few scenarios. This could have been it as well. This maybe was the E wave target. In a triangle, there is common scenarios, not this one, this would be this one. Common scenarios in a triangle. In this one, for example, your E wave either has a fake out of the triangle without claiming the C wave, or it creates a running move, right, which it does not reach the not even the resistance of lower highs, and it, you know, it's very, very far away on claiming it. It front runs basically the resistance and then gets the breakdown, which, you know, could be a possibility here. Could be a possibility, you know, maybe your E wave of the triangle could be in. That's something that, you know, this is why shorting this pump was interesting, but I missed out the short. I mean, I'm still in a short position here from the other day, just hedging against the rest of the long positions that I do have. But I didn't get into a new short. I am interested in shorts, and I will very possibly enter a short position once I get confirmation on the charts, which will be directly forward, okay, into the Telegram, which is where I posted yesterday, where I was getting into the long position, entered the long, my take profit zones, stop loss, and this is currently this position, which most of the profits have been taken. I've been collecting profits, left a small percentage open, just because of the sake of it, right? But I do see the potential weakness right now. So I missed out a local short. Not to worry. Literally what I'm waiting for, guys. What I'm waiting for here, which we're already getting a pretty strong sign of weakness, is this being a third wave down. Get a fourth wave. And then, of course, the fifth wave. The bounce. Any bounce that happens here is where I will be interested in shorting, okay? So this does look a pretty aggressive third wave development, possibly. Yeah, that's what I would be looking for here. The moment the price does get a bounce here, legends, then, you know, and claims this lower high, then eventually this high will likely be claimed, okay? I would not see this as bearish anymore. We're probably looking at a complex double zigzag here. But if we were to consolidate after this drop, get that fifth wave. That's what I would be looking at here to get into the short. Okay. I need that bounce. I need that bounce. So anyway, let's go through the comment section right away. I will let the Telegram signals channel where I am entering the short, guys. No new short position, just entered the long position from yesterday. But I will be interested in a short based on this information. And once I trigger that short position, I will let the Telegram signals channel know, guys. If you're interested in joining that, knowing where I am entering and what I am looking for, make sure to join the first link down below in the description, guys. The free Telegram community, all right, where I'm providing the signals of my Bitcoin trades. Let's go through the comment section and say hello to the beautiful community. We got 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽𝗍cie, how are you doing? 𝗬𝗏𝘆, awesome, glad you got it. Phantom, you referred to the 1382. We do have the 1382. I mean, have to say, aggressive short. Whoever catch this, Devil is always looking at Fibonacci extensions. We do have a low, a lower high, a low, and another higher high. Well, eventually you do have a few pivots to look at to get into your trading setup here. 1236 to the 1382. That is where we got the rejection, which is a very, very common zone for your C wave. And we're getting that aggressive drop at the moment. It's exactly where we rejected. A common three-wave structure rejection area. 1236 to the 1382. Devil, my man, much love to you. Are you surprised now? I'm not surprised. You know, this is all part of the range still, guys, right? This is, when we're talking about this bounce, we are looking for a movement down later on, right? It's all range analysis. Now, I have to say, I did not catch this short. You know, this is, you know, very, very aggressive entry, right? Aggressive entry here for the short, pumping. If you're watching this Fibonacci level. But yeah, I was looking at a three-wave move to the upside and then a leg down. This leg down, this leg up was expected. The leg down was expected as well. I was interested in getting into short positions today. As I mentioned also in the Telegram, I just missed in catching the high, right? This movement to the downside is also expected inside of the range. So I'm not surprised. Hello, Aman, how are you doing? Much love to everybody. When you expect something, you're not surprised, right? So I was expecting the pump, but also the dump. However, you know, not an easy catch the high, right? Catch the high of the pump. This lower high would have been interesting to catch the short. I was just not paying attention. I'm not glued to the chart, guys, 24/7. So yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm in a short position from the other day, from this range over here, from this bounce, which is, you know, hedging against the longs that I do have, which profits have been taken. I'm very, very skeptical right now, and this is why I'm gonna close a little bit more of this long position. I'm gonna actually take another $1,000 on this long position, okay? Because I'm skeptical right now on the price dropping down. I do see the price dropping down to much lower levels. Hang on a minute. Why isn't this? Stopped out from the rest of the position of the long. Just checking here if it's logged me out. Why isn't this long closing? Hang on a minute. Yeah, I am very much aware of the price really dropping down a little bit more. I was worried about showing my credentials here. Yeah, I'm aware of the price being a little bit more bearish at the moment. And actually breaking down here, guys. Just because the E wave could be in already. Okay, and we have many different bearish case scenarios. Just didn't catch this short, guys. Didn't catch this short. It wasn't easy for me to execute a short position here. I'm in a short regardless already from this zone. But the main reason why I've taken a bit more profits from that long is I am aware of a breakdown here. I am aware of a breakdown. Okay, we've completed the one of the triangle. We probably completed the triangle here, right? So this is the thing, right? When you haven't completed a pattern and you're still moving inside of the zone, I needed only this wave to complete, regardless if we hit 106 or 107 or 108, right? We don't know how punchy it's going to be. I am aware of the price moving down. I am aware of the triangle completing, and there's many triangles, many scenarios of this triangle to actually get a breakdown, right? Regardless if it could be a flat structure. Later on, it's still going to be rangy. It's going to be choppy, claim the lows, SFP, bounce, then back down. There is another triangle that could be formed inside of the Y wave. This is your X wave. So the thing is, I am aware that this triangle could be completed. And I want to take profits, more profits on the long. Obviously maintain that short. Missed in shorting here, but I will add to the short position or get into a new short position. Once we get that consolidation, we get another, we do have a corrective move here at some point and get another leg down. I need a 5-wave structure to the downside. Okay, then the bounce will be very interesting. But I'm not surprised of the movement down, and I'm actually concerned about the long positions that should be taken profit based on the potential breakdown right now, because this triangle could be completed. This E wave could be completed. The E wave in a triangle does not need to get to the resistance of the triangle. It can go halfway. It can fake out from the resistance. You just don't really know where it could finish. But what I understand is that as I was expecting that 3-wave leg to the upside, I was expecting the move down as well. We're expecting movement up, down, and down, right? To finish, either this triangle, which would have been the bullish one, but, I do realize that there is other bearish case scenarios, which would be this one right over here, which your wave X has finished now in a triangle, and we have our E wave finished right over here, A, B, C, D, E. That is one scenario. The bullish case scenario is that your E wave finished here. Okay. Or your E wave. No, sorry, my bad. The bullish one. We do have many scenarios here on Elliott wave theory. My bad, guys. Here, I don't want to get you confused. Yeah, the D wave and the E wave. So yeah, for this scenario, we would have to be forming a higher low right now. We did get a very shallow pump. It looks very aggressive, I have to say. The price does look pretty aggressive, and it does look like it wants to break down, but it doesn't matter. We short and long the range. I long the range. I'm in long positions. I want to take some profits from my longs because I realize that there is a bearish case scenario, which is this one right over here. There is your three-wave structure. There is your A, B, C, D, E. Finishing your X wave, we get the breakdown and we form another rangy structure. So as I realize that the price could break down right now, I want to take profits from my, I've taken profits eventually off my long position already on the pump. That was the general idea of this trading setup. Okay, if you're in a long position here from the last couple of days at 104k, it's a day trade, right? Profits were taken from that long position as I shared here. But yeah, this was a not an easy short position to enter, okay, for me. Very quick pump and dump scenario. It's just not an easy short. It's not an easy short. Yesterday was an easy long. This was for me, it was an easier long. You got a clear invalidation. I'm looking for a three-wave move up. The price is very chilled. This has been a quick pump. This could have been a correction. You know, not an easy short, I have to say. Very volatile pump, dump, a mini Bart Simpson pattern here. So not an easy short position. It does look pretty impulsive to the downside. So let me tell you that I will be looking for a short position, right? Obviously not at the lows. What I am interested in here, like I mentioned, is at some point getting a bounce and another wave down. This is the moment that I would be interested as soon as we claim your fourth wave, and I'm looking for the 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci area to look for the short down, understanding that a three-wave move, at least to the downside, is what we're looking at. Okay, so opportunities are there all the time, guys. If I don't short here, I'll short later. Right? So, but I do understand that profits should be taken on the long, because we could be breaking down to 103, 102, 101. And as I do understand that, well, you know, you want to take your profits from your long and, you know, maintain the short position. I mean, I actually might add to the short position depending on the internal structure that we do form here. You know, I'll be happy to add, you know, another $50,000 on this short, because I will understand that, you know, we could be forming a 5-wave move down and a bounce and then another 5-wave to the downside. So yeah, I will be happy to add on the bounce, understanding that we could get another 3-wave move to the downside. But yeah, this is the thing is the triangle, regardless of which triangle was going to happen, either this one or either the bearish one, you know, was very much expected to continue. And right now we possibly have the end of this E wave and it's actually going to break down, right? These are the different scenarios that could happen that do possibly break down to 100K, you know, below 100K. It's very, very much possible at this moment. However, a few days ago, you know, we were still looking at the range to continue. We're still looking for a movement up and then the movement down. So, you know, understanding that the range is likely to continue. So interested in longs, interested in shorts. The last few days I was interested in longs, got into the long position, pumped a few $1,000s, made a few $1,000s. You know, we moved to the next one, right? Not an easy short this though for me, okay? Not an easy short execution. So yeah, that was that. Anyway, let's go through the comment section, see what the people are saying. All right. I will be informing in the Telegram, also in the Discord, where I would be executing my next trade, regardless if it's a short or a long. Shorts look very interesting if this ends up being an impulse. Okay. They do look interesting. I need more information. Once we get that information, once we get the bounce, the information will be given and we'll be looking to take that decision or not to get into a short to possibly break down actually. Okay. So no rush, guys. We don't need to trade every single long and short position. Much love to you and your BTC chart, says Mariano. Much love to you, brother. Bullish CVD forming on all colors. Yeah, wow, we got some. I'm not sure if is there any news, guys, coming out. Maybe also the drop was news related. I'm not sure if it was or not. Based on the charts, there was already some valid counts on the possibility of the price moving down from here, regardless if it was this scenario. Your E wave was relatively shallow, and now we're going to break down. Yeah, guys, the only information that I need right now is a consolidation, a breakdown. You might swing failure pattern. And then, you know, this three-wave structure is going to be very interesting to look for the continuation to the downside, right? Let's keep it that way. That's what I need right now on the chart. I'm not interested in trading this, these volatile moves. Continuation could happen. An epic V shape could happen. I need the proper structure to understand the next wave if it is going to get that movement down. Okay. Somebody's saying there is big bullish CVD divergence. Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of selling pressure. We probably have a few rockets going above our heads at the moment based on this drop. The technicals did say that a drop could happen at some point in this region. At some point, a drop could have happened already. However, it's been aggressive. You know, a drop was expected after this movement up. A drop was expected at some point. It was just very quick. It was very, very quick. So, Wes, much love to you. It is a liquidation related. It's liquidation related. Yeah, we got lots of liquidity here. But still, we do have a lot of liquidity to the upside, right? I mean, yeah, to the downside, we do have that big fat liquidity still. Near all-time high, there is a lot of liquidity. But yeah, we've got lots of liquidity here below 103, okay? We're very close to that zone. We do have a bearish case right now that it is possible. We have the possibility of one triangle being completed. So, I mean, this idea was the E wave and then the breakdown, right? Still in a very complex WXY range. I mean, let's see. Maybe this is still part of a three-wave corrective structure. If we do not, okay, listen out here. If we do not form a fourth wave, a bearish pennant, if you wish, and we break down, if we do not form that bearish pennant here and claim the lows again in the next coming hours, and the price suddenly V-shapes, I would have to say that we are, you know, I will be analyzing this in the Discord. We'll be providing some updates. We may be in a larger range, okay? I need to be very, very specific in my next trading setup, guys. You know, I just don't randomly get into this volatility, okay? I try and stay away. This is where I enter. This is where I enter the trades. Bounce, I'm interested here in the short for the three-wave structure. That's where I enter. The bounce right over here. Swing failure pattern, I also enter if I'm feeling aggressive. But not this volatility. Not this movement. I need the price to stop. And then I analyze this movement down and I analyze this movement here. And it could be a good decision to get into a short. So yeah, this local volatility is not too interesting for me. A whale just opened a 450 million Bitcoin long position. My God. It's triple or quad witching day today. It's triple or quad witching today. We are going down to 92K, buddy. Maybe it is possible. 92K. Well, I'll tell you what, buddy. Well, if we are going to 92K, it probably won't reach 92K, but I would say that 96 to 94K is definitely a scenario. We do have many, we do have multiple bearish case scenarios for the next, 1 to 2 weeks. But as mentioned, this is still corrective. This is still corrective price action. Whatever happens in this zone, 92K, I think is, it is a possibility. We cannot say it's not. I can say it's low probability that we could get to 92K. But I just want to make you understand that there is a higher probability that anything that happens here, we have many scenarios, many scenarios, okay, that are all corrective structures, which leads to new all-time highs, buddy. Okay, so, and chart, there's nothing more powerful than chart analysis, guys. Look at this. Look at this pump. Somebody said, are you surprised now? After getting this wave to the upside, we're actually, expecting another drop down. So, yeah. Not surprised. Dumpy Friday, as usual, yes. Amol, you're saying Injink to Amol. We're going down to 92K, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Hype up. Yeah, I missed this local short, guys. I got into the long yesterday, took the profits. Profits have to be taken, legends. Imagine not taking profits. I got stopped out from the rest of the position from this zone. Imagine not. I did take over 70% profit just as we took the high, and then higher, been scratching more profits. But imagine not taking profits if you longed here yesterday, right? And now what do you do? Well, you had to take profit. Got stopped out from the rest of the position. And this short, guys, it is not an easy short, right? You're getting into the pump. Unless you are aggressive and you got into the 1236 1382 extension, which is your common target area for a 3-wave structure, regardless if it's a WXY double zigzag or a ABC, it doesn't matter. Maybe you felt aggressive and you wanted to short the fib extension here, which is the most common for your C wave, the 1236 1382 zone. I mean, it's an aggressive short for me, guys. I didn't take it. Don't worry, I'll get into trades at some point today or tomorrow, regardless, a short or a long. I'll be identifying it, and I will be letting the Discord know. I'll be letting the signals channel on Telegram. If you want to join that, guys, make sure to join. This is where I'm sharing, where I'm entering my Bitcoin trade positions. It is for free. You got the access down below in the description, okay? It's the first link down below. Join the Telegram where I share where I get into my Bitcoin trades and where I'm taking profit. So it's a massive bull flag, 138K. Yeah, also, you could really look at this as a bull flag. Why have I got my daily levels here? I don't need them. It could be a massive bull flag, a bullish pennant, or right? A descending wedge. Everything points out that it is corrective, guys, regardless. Everything points out that it is corrective and that all-time highs is expected in the next coming weeks. Okay, so I wouldn't I wouldn't get too excited for the bears, guys. If you are very bearish, I wouldn't get too excited, because the probability is to hit all-time high at some point, regardless if we get below 100k or not, guys. The trend line support is there. Suzanne, it's possible 100% that it is a bullish flag. More ranging here. Yeah, all of the scenarios do point out for ranging, guys. Okay, there is no scenario that I have that you should have, but I don't have it, that this is going to nuke down. There are no scenarios. I've explained them in the video. They're all continuing the range. All of the scenarios are corrective. You can break down below 100k eventually. It's actually expected on many scenarios, but they all point out for all-time high at some point, regardless of breaking down below 100k. So yeah, what can we say? I got that video up yesterday, guys, if you want to see the different scenarios. One of them being this one as well, which is maybe one that is playing out at the moment. Your E wave is in here, and we just continue ranging. We are entering into summertime, guys, because so yeah, maybe the volume is going to be low, maybe the range is going to continue for a few weeks. I wouldn't expect major drops of $20,000 or a pump of $20,000. I would not expect that throughout the next coming weeks. Most of the scenarios do point out that range continuation is highly likely. Okay, I'm tired. When Lambo, yeah, this cycle is very boring. Now the summer's coming. For me, I am looking for previous week low, SFP, and then more time near 106. Boring manipulated market. Well, I mean, we talked about this range, guys, since the beginning of the week. Since Monday, we were talking about this. Claim 100k, get back down to 103, you know, maybe pump to 106, 107, then come back down to 104k, right? We may be literally at this point. And you know, we've been talking about all of this range, guys. You know, it's going to be rangy. It's going to be pumpy, dumpy, dumpy, pumpy. It was expected. It was expected. Okay. Not surprised. It's just, it would have been nice to get a little bit more of a rangy structure here, a little bit of a pump to hit 107k, hit the daily level, you know, give us a short opportunity. Maybe some traders here got aggressive on the short and said, you know what, I'm just shorting this pump. Or I'm just shorting the 1236. You know, I would say that shorting that 1236, 1382 extension, then yeah, it's a valid aggressive short. It is aggressive. But if you are looking at this entire structure to be developed in three-wave structures like we've been talking about throughout the last few days, you know, maybe you did short the 1236, 1382 extension, which is the common target level, you know, for an ABC. So, I mean, it is aggressive, but I didn't get in. Market makers chasing liquidations. Yeah, very common in a triangle. You just dump, pump, pump and dump. Why not below 104k? Why not what? Below 104k? Exactly, Yusuf. Legends, thank you very much for joining today's live stream. Not much more has to be said. I will be informing the Discord and the Telegram if I do get into a new Bitcoin trading position. Yesterday was a complete success pump. Missed out on the short, but I'm not worried, guys. There's opportunities every single day, and I'm interested in shorts and longs. Remember that you got those exchanges, guys, with the exclusive bonuses. You got weeks, you got bluffing. Take advantage with the links down below, okay? For weeks, you do get 25% fee reduction. You only need an email and a password. You can get up to $30,000 bonus. The more you trade, the more volume you move, you'll be getting airdrops, guys. Check out weeks or check out bluffing. or check out the Telegram. That's where I'll be posting my next Bitcoin trading setup. Thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow.